time to start, so we can go on.
Okay.
And Indra, are you ready? Just to check, Indra, are you ready with the recording? Yeah.
Okay, I
It's recording, I think.
Okay, good.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you are here in my workshop. And don't worry if you don't teach young learners, because integrating critical thinking skills into exploration of culture is an essential thing to do in English classrooms of all levels. About myself, I'm an everlasting student. I study all the time. I'm an astrologer, an English teacher, a preschool teacher, speech therapist, special education teacher. We might have met already in 2015 at the conference when I was talking about multisensory strategies. And right now, I'm acquiring completely new experience. Since January, I'm an English teacher at a distance learning school, an online school, Riga Commerce School. And my 3 children, they are students at this school, and we're very happy to be there. And I'm also a student of a master's program, which is an international program, educational treatment of diversity. So my presentation today will be partly practical experience, partly the knowledge gained at the University of Latvia. And I was very happy for the opportunity to participate in the American English e-teacher program this spring, which was 12 weeks altogether. It started by a 4-week orientation course where we got to use got acquainted with using Canvas platform, which is something like Moodle platform where all the learning takes place. What are the best online learning strategies, types of plagiarism, open educational resources. Then it was followed by 8-week main course, integrating critical thinking into the exploration of culture. And I suggest you, if you want to learn something new, but you're not ready for another university degree, it's very, very valuable course. And I think it is one of the best learning experiences that I have ever had. By the way, it's not the only course that is offered by World Learning. There are 8 options altogether, and they take 4 times per year. And your group mates will be all over the world, very multinational group. And you have to take into account that it's quite intense learning. You have to do quite a lot of reading and writing. You should consider that you will need about 7 to 10 hours a week to do this, but it's really interesting. If you're interested in learning something like that, you could use this website, openenglishprograms.org. And there's program information, and course under the course information you will find more details about the exact course you are interested in and how to apply for that. What is more, you can find many resources, free resources for you as a teacher, lesson plans and activities under English teaching resources. There's also English teaching forum where teachers share their experiences and where you can find other additional materials. So lots of materials to explore. During my presentation, pay attention to this smiley face. It will be a hint for you for the answers, for the questions which you will have to answer after my presentation. So just a hint for you to make your life easier. So the course was about the culture and what we understand by culture. culture, generally speaking, it's something that people think, make, and do. And in 3Ps, model of culture, these are perspectives, what the members of culture think, feel, value, what are their attitudes towards each other, younger people's attitudes towards elderly people. These are practices, how people behave, their traditions, their body language, their gestures, their wedding ceremonies, for example. These are products that we understand as music, food, literature, clothing, houses, system of education as well. And if you are interested in some more information, there are some videos. I will share my presentation somehow and send it to you so that you can watch the videos later as well. And as I mentioned, culture is also something connected with education. And from social pedagogical phenomenon, culture is within our classroom. Today we're very multinational. We speak 3-4 languages. We travel a lot. We are very diverse learners. We have different objectives, why we learn, what we learn, how we learn. And learning happens when we interact with each other and with environment, and everything is very different. As I mentioned, learning happens in the interaction and the perception of the world, how we see things. It's based on the knowledge and experience that we already have. And this knowledge and experience comes from the culture that we are from our microculture, that is our family, from our country, from our institution where we come from. And then we can gain new knowledge when we interact with each other, when we make new connections with people from different other cultures. And what is more, it was already mentioned by Steve Lever that it has to be meaningful and personalized so that we get interested in making new knowledge. And as there are many, many, many different cultures around us, as I mentioned, it can be personal level of culture, how we behave as a person, how we learn, how we feel, how we do things. Then this is our microculture, our family, with our family values. Then it's our working place, school. It has different values and beliefs. And it's our country, national traditions. It's a global level as well. And students and we as the teachers, we might become very confused how to behave, how to speak with other people, how to feel, how to do things in different situations. And that is why intercultural competence is very necessary. And we as English teachers, we should teach it. Its ability how to interact with people who are from different cultures. We are cultural beings, and culture affects all areas of our lives. However, each of us is very unique. Also, we are affected by those different cultures. Still, we cannot make stereotypes. So, because we have our individual qualities and feelings and beliefs. As English teachers, we know that our students speak a foreign language. That means that we are preparing them for future intercultural encounters, and they will meet people from different cultures. So that is why we should teach them this competence, and we have to give them how to do that. And to explore other cultures, it is very important to start exploring yourself. If you're different, then ask yourself, different from what? You have to understand who you are, and only then you can understand your differences. You should explore yourself as a teacher. You should find what are the best ways for you, how you teach, why you teach, who are your students whom you are teaching. When I became a teacher, I thought that my way, best way how to teach, but then gradually I understood every teacher can be very different, and what is good for me is not good for other teachers and for other classrooms. So understand yourself. Critical thinking might become very handy when we should acquire intercultural competence, because we can get rid of assumptions and prejudices and bias, and with the help of critical thinking skills. We can start distinguishing facts from opinions. We explore alternatives. It's a process. We can learn and we can teach critical thinking, and it doesn't stop. You can start it in Form 1 already, and you can use it when you're getting old. So it's ongoing process. And we should start with how can I move it? We should start with observation or description versus interpretation. That is how we can start teaching very young learners already, distinguishing between facts and our opinions. So look at the picture. What do you think? This is a mother and daughter. Is it a fact, description, and observation, or is it your opinion? Think a little. And as you see, it's interpretation. There are two people. It seems that it's a woman with a child, but you can never know even the gender nowadays. This is dinner. What do you think? Observation or interpretation? It's your interpretation, because you see that there's ketchup and a glass of water, but is it dinner? Is it supper? Or maybe it's just something that is placed as to make an image of something. These are forks. Observation or interpretation? Most probably it's a fact. However, it could be different situations. This is a wedding. Yes, we see all the tools that could be connected with wedding. However, it is an interpretation because it could be film shooting. It could be an advertisement. Could be different situations. It could, maybe it's not a real wedding. We just think it might be a wedding. This child is very young. If I said this boy is very young, then most probably it would be my interpretation. But yes, the child really seems very young. The glass is half full or maybe half empty if you are a pessimist. You can measure it. Really, you can see that it's half. If you can measure, if you can give details and exact facts, then it's observation. Several people in this photo are raising their hands. You can see some are raising, some are not. Yes, it's an observation. These little girls are learning a lot. Are they really learning? Yes, we can see that they are engaged in something, but is this learning? Maybe they are just chatting or drawing something and are not doing the task. So it's your interpretation as a teacher. So be careful. The boys in the photo are very nervous. Yeah, you normally are nervous during the test, but you don't know how they feel. So every time when it's about people's feelings, don't just judge from the first impression, and so on. Now I would like you to think about 3 descriptive factors and 3 interpretations that you can find in this picture. Think about people, location, weather, objects. Take some time, think about it. I can't see the chat box. Oh, Ina is here. Hello, Ina. Ina is my study buddy at the university. This is something that you can do at every level, in every class at school. Just give part of the picture and make your students think which are facts, which are statements. Okay, I think you have done something, I hope. And these were my descriptions and interpretations for my home task in this American English course. And I thought that this is a bench in the park where there are green plants. I can see that there are people in this picture, three people. I can see that the person is wearing a blue t-shirt and black shorts and is bent over and is holding something in the hand. At the beginning, I wanted to write that it's a camera in the person's hand, but then I thought, how can I know that it's a camera? Maybe it's just a toy. And at the beginning, I thought that this is a man, but actually, we don't know a person's gender nowadays. It can be very variable. My interpretation is that it's a family. I don't know their relation. That is taking a photo. Is it really a camera? So it's my interpretation. The day is very sunny. That's my assumption because I don't see it clearly. I don't have the weather fact with temperature, and the sun is not evident. My interpretation is that it's dad. I assume that might be a dad. And now you can see the real picture of it that you can show your children in the classroom, that we cannot judge from one very tiny piece about the whole picture. And that's why critical thinking is very essential, where you can ask questions. Is it really so? Where you can look at things from different perspectives and from different viewpoints, where you can find out more, try to find out more facts about it. Okay, and there can be different contexts and different meanings. And this is one thing, what you can use to think critically. It's by exploring different symbolic meanings of different things. For example, you could use project works to explore the meanings of numbers in different cultures. In one culture, number 8 could be a very lucky number, whether in another country it could be very opposite. I will have a look at chat. Okay, you have some descriptions and interpretations. You could use the meaning of animals. For example, for my home task, I described the meaning of a black cat. I have a black cat at home. For me, personally, that's one of the best animals and very lucky sign, and I love my cat. Other people would be scared when they see black cat crossing the street. What are different meanings of body language and gestures in different countries? For example, if I nod, I agree, because we can means that you agree. Completely opposite. What are greetings in different cultures? Maybe like that. Maybe hello. Clothes and colors could be something to explore. What I use in my lessons is the material you can find in British Council website. It's about emojis and meanings around the world. You have the link where you can find the video and worksheets. For example, this. We understand that smiley face usually means that we're happy, we are satisfied. However, there are cultures where it might mean that you are quite sarcastic about things that are happening. Your palms put together, it could mean thank you, it could mean please, it could mean high five, different meanings. In some chats, people might understand this cheeky monkey with his eyes closed or ears shut or mouth shut as embarrassed when you don't know what to do, confused. However, I think it's Japanese culture, it means wise, because when you close your eyes, you don't see the evil around you. When you close your ears, you don't hear the evil. When you shut your mouth, you don't speak the evil. So this symbol, I understand it as laughing a lot, laughing so much that I get tears in my eyes. However, in some cultures, it means sad and crying because of the sadness. And there's a real life situation that someone's neighbor died, and a text message was sent using those images. And the lady who wrote it, she meant that she is crying because of sadness, and the other person didn't understand. Are you really happy about that? So you have to discuss it with your students, that different symbols could mean different things to different people from different cultures. Poop. What do we understand by poop? I think it's Chinese culture, but I might be wrong. It means happiness. Happy birthday and poop. Why are you giving me poop? So I wouldn't like to get message with that, but still, again, different cultures, different contexts, different situations, different meanings. And you have to teach this to your children at a very young age. I started doing this activity already in Form 1. Active listening is something that is a part of critical thinking. And it requires a listener concentrate fully and understand what is being said. And usually it's developed in speaking context, but it can be used in reading things, writing things. We used it during our courses a lot while we were communicating with each other. So what are the techniques? You have to use your full attention to read the post. So I think that's one of the most important things. Read it from the beginning to the end, and then across once again, and reflect before responding. So it can be both about reading and listening. So ask yourself, is it so? Could it be differently? As I understand, then it's like that. Make sure you understood what the other person wrote. Ask questions. Did you mean that by saying that? Or have I understood you correctly? Recognize the emotional side. That is what we teachers should use a lot and often during our lessons. It seems that you are confused. Is it so? Well, are you sad? Has anything happened to you? Are you angry with something? Why? How could I help you? And as soon as you mention the emotions, children start feeling that you really care. So it's only does everyone see the only slide with picture of a family? Okay. We have some technical problems.
No, it's okay.
Do you see my slides?
Active listening. Yes, I'm active listening still.
Okay. Then somebody else has problems with technical problems. Okay. Offer alternatives. A person has told you something or has written something. Give examples. Maybe you could do this. Maybe you could do that. How about this? Have you ever tried that? I know. Share your point of view. Or you can tell about your experience. I have heard that if I were you, I could do like that. I have tried this. Request for more information. Ask additional questions, and so on. For younger learners, you should already prepare those phrases and language to use to make it easier for them to communicate for every task. If you are interested in additional materials, just write to me or ask me. You will see my email address at the end of the presentation. I will gladly share all the materials that I have. And if you want, you can have a deeper insight into active listening techniques by watching those video links you have here. Encouraging reflective practice is the same. First 7 techniques are from listening techniques, and then there are additional things. Take an objective stance. Sometimes when the person is in the situation, the person is overwhelmed by one's own feelings, emotions, and so on. You as an outsider, you give your opinion looking from a point of view that is outside the situation. You could offer different way of seeing things. You can make another person think about the future. What would you do in the future if you had the situation? How could you change it to have a different result? One of the main issues is be respectful. So respect, that is something that you have to mention in every lesson. Again, some more additional videos. And as I mentioned, your classroom is a culture. You should start by exploring your classroom. You should make your students be aware of each other, understand each other's feelings, practices, traditions, way of learning, get to know yourself and your students. One of the activities you could offer is identities wheels. It was material that I had in the American course, but I thought that would not be proper for my younger learners. I will show another way how I got to know them. Students just present or make their identity wheels. These are just some examples that they could use to understand who they are, what are their roles, and so on. This is what I made about myself when I introduced myself to my group mates in American course. I think very essential for me is to understand my core value and my identity of values and beliefs, who I am inside as a human being, not only as a teacher or not only as a wife or mother. There are some more examples. And when your students make something like this and present something like this, you could go in more details by asking additional questions. Which aspects or roles did you choose? Why did you choose them? Which seem most important to you? Which are the ones that were determined for you, that you had no choice, that you had to take them? What surprises when you look at this? You could try it before you start your lessons this school year. Try to understand yourself. How you feel in every role, every identity you have. Maybe you can understand, well, I don't quite feel quite well in one of my roles. What could I do to change it? What should I do to feel differently? I used Identity Box, which was an idea from the last year Latte conference. One of the presenters gave the idea, and the girl chose just a smaller box. The boy said, I have no place for this, so he made a box out of the wood and put all the things that is connected with him. It seems more like hobby box, but still I could get inside what my students are interested in, so that I can make more engaging lessons for them. This is the way how I can get better contact with them. And in our previous presentation, the previous presenter talked about the feedbacks and assessments. That is how you get to know your students as well. So after every lesson, that's the slide from my Skype lesson. What was easy? What was difficult? What have you learned? Send an emoji in the chat, please. And that is how I understand the culture of my classroom, who my students are. After every test they have a feedback like that. As I am working in an online school, we don't have textbooks. We make a lot of project works, and I prepare my course materials, and we have face-to-face or Skype tutorials once a week. And so when you get the feedback, don't stop here. If you see a sad face or maybe confused face, continue your communication. Write an individual question to your student. Why do you feel like that? What could we do to improve that? So use active listening strategies. It seems that you are not satisfied with your work. What makes you feel so? And so use those techniques to encourage the conversation and change the obstacles into opportunities. So don't stop here. Then they have to write the answers to these questions. What did you like learning so far? What did you dislike learning so far? What do you suggest for further learning process? For example, I got to know that some of my students are scared of monsters and ghosts, and I had some of the tasks which included them, so I should avoid them in this particular class. My students suggested that I should give them more space for writing their answers in the worksheets, or some suggested more listening tasks. So this is what helps you to make meaningful lessons, meaningful for them. There you will see other options how to use critical thinking rubrics with I CAN. English language portfolio is something that has the same critical thinking skills already, where students have to think about their work and performance. So how much time do we still have? 5 minutes? Okay, some more sources for you. Please talk about learning strategies. Teach your students to learn at a very, very early stage. because they can't understand themselves as learners if they don't understand the learning strategies. This is something that we do before our Skype lessons. They have a like checklist worksheet how to get ready for the Skype lesson. Getting ready for the lesson. My surroundings are quiet and not disturbing. All my toys are put away. On my desk, I have only school things that are needed for the lesson. I listen to my teacher and classmates carefully. I am quiet while listening to others. My microphone is turned off while watching the video. I don't speak while someone else is speaking. I raise my hand when I want to say something. I don't shout. I don't say mean words. If I ask if I don't understand, and so on. Make your children think about the way they learn and how should they learn, how they participate in the lesson. Make them aware of what they are doing. I like this THINK acronym. I use it in my Skype lessons very often. When they say something, when they communicate, they should think, is it true? Is it helpful for others if I say it? Is it inspiring? Will it make others happy and will it help others to do more? Is it really necessary to do this? Is it kind? So we talk about netiquette a lot, respect. There are many, many beautiful videos and worksheets in British Council Learn English Kids and Teens about netiquette, about the rules and about the internet safety. I use these materials a lot. To use your full attention to reading, to read the text carefully, what I understood, children don't really know all the vocabulary necessary for understanding the task that they have to do. So use some vocabulary activities to make them to learn the words connected with understanding the task. Now I would like you, if you have a pen and pencil, to do the next task. 20 seconds for you to do the next task. I don't see anything in the chat now. There it comes. Okay, thank you. Lilita, thank you. Irina, you got it. Sorry for making this experiment here, but this is what I do very, very often in my classroom, during my lessons. During my Skype lessons, children had the same activity. Of course, this part was different where the questions are, but I understand, and none of the children got the right answer. None of them wrote okay in the chat because they had not read the task carefully. Your task was just to say okay in the chat. So it proves that even we as teachers, don't pay our full attention to what we read and what we do. Okay, thank you for your case. You know what happened the next day when I made this experiment in my class? In the American course, I get 8 points out of 10 because I did not read the task. I had not read it very carefully. So even we teachers do not pay all our full attention to what we read, what we hear, and when we communicate with our students. Well, I don't think we have very much time left, but I will send to you a lesson plan developed during the American course, how to get to know other cultures by using critical thinking skills. Again, we started the lesson by learning strategies. You will get the links and ideas where to do and what to do. This was a listening activity prepared by British Council. Then we discussed what the students think, how to improve their work. They could make an action plan. They could organize their files, folders, and materials. They could make vocabulary portfolios. They could watch more videos and so on. So that's the ideas from students, feedbacks as well. My students make a lot of creative activities. They create their own tasks, and then we do all the tasks together. And what I ask them, they have to think whether it's appropriate and suitable for class 2. Is it challenging enough? Can their classmates learn it? Is the work neat and tidy? I give them examples of the activities they could make. These are some examples of the activities that my students made from, it was Form 2 students. It was paper work. It was a worksheet that they sent me, scanned and sent me by email, and I adapted it to a PowerPoint presentation for an online lesson. Crosswords or word searches. It's second form student, fourth grader, third grader. Took a photo near his house and asked questions. Could be something like that, and others have to describe it. Actually, on a worksheet, it is it starts with a picture, and you have to color it according to the text. But during our Skype lesson, we just looked at the ready picture, and then we described it orally. So this is another way that they have made. Okay, we'll skip
We have 1 minute left.
Okay, we have, if you are interested, I will send you the project works. They do the projects for every topic. It's not obligatory, but they can do, and they actually do a lot. Give just general idea. Don't frame it, don't give them lots of freedom to choose what they want to do. Yes, these are some examples. If you want to, just write me an email, ask a question to send you the ideas. I have many about housing and weather and so on. And there are some examples. This one about fashion is the first grader, fashion history. Video about plants in spring in the garden, second grader, and so on. So let's skip that. You will read in the lesson plan how you can learn about other cultures in other countries, about other schools. And don't be afraid of being different, because so you're unique. Just be your own unique, beautiful self, and then you can swim outside the box and find new solutions. Here you can see my email, my Skype name. So please feel free to contact me, and I am ready to share the materials and ready-made PowerPoint presentations for Skype lessons, and you can have this presentation as well. I will think of the way how to deliver it to you.
Thank you, Agnese.
I think we have to return to the main room now.
Yeah.